want to talk to you all about a narrative, an understanding that exists predominantly in the coaching industry, as far as I'm aware, that doesn't serve clients and doesn't serve coaches. And I'd really love to give you an educational piece of information which should hopefully help coaches with their sales and their conversions, and also help clients with making those big investments and those big leaps. Okay, so there is a narrative that exists in the coaching industry, especially in the spiritual, energetic, divine feminine niche of the coaching industry, that states when you make the big investment, then the money appears. Is this true or is this false? Well, it is actually true, but it's nuanced. There are layers to this statement, and there is so much energetic unpacking that needs to happen underneath it that a lot of people don't understand and a lot of people miss. And so what we see a lot of in the coaching industry is somebody will appear to say something which appears to be a really shit hot sales technique, and then other people adopt it without fully understanding all of the energetics underneath it, without fully embodying it, and then use it with kind of limited success. And this is one of those narratives. So I see lots and lots of coaches saying, well, you have to make the investment in order for the money to appear, in order for the return to come, in order for the magic to happen. And yes, it's true, but many coaches are saying this with a lack of understanding. And many clients are making these investments with a lack of understanding. So the results for the client and the results for the coach are limited, and that's not what we want. So it felt appropriate, given that we are also in launch mode at the moment at Ask H. We have people on the fence for School of Mastery, for the Quantum Mastermind, for the Mastery Pathway, for loads of things. It felt appropriate and it felt aligned, not only to help those of you who are considering making an investment, but also to help other coaches with their sales conversions. This benefits me, this benefits you, this benefits the coaching industry. It makes the world a bit of a better place if I share with you the energetics underneath this particular sales conversion narrative. Here's the energetics of it. When a client is in a narrative of, I really want to make this investment because it's aligned with my desires and what I want and the transformation that I want to make in my life, but I cannot make this investment until the money appears, until I have more time in my diary, until excuse. What the client is doing at that moment in time is they are making their desires conditional of an external event or an external power. In short, they're giving their power away, right? So they're basically saying, my desires aren't valid unless XYZ money appears. My desires aren't valid and worthy unless my clients pay me. My desires aren't valid and worthy because of XYZ. And when we do that, we literally make our desires conditional. When we make our desires conditional, we've given our power away. So we've said, I am not worthy of manifesting all that I desire. I am not worthy of this massive, expansive abundance. I am not worthy of making this investment until external things around me rearrange themselves. My worthiness is dependent. The receiving of my desires is dependent. This investment is dependent on someone else, something else that I don't have control of. And by doing that, they're basically removing themselves from this energetic exchange, and they're also keeping themselves stuck in the narrative and in the frequencies that they are currently in. It is true that big investments and big leaps and big change does help to completely shift the energetics that we're in order that we can create a completely different lives for ourselves, create more abundance, create more love, more joy, more expansion, whatever it is. However, you need to understand how this works. So that's the first piece about the making your desires conditional. If you make your desires conditional, it doesn't matter whether you make that investment or not. If there's still a narrative there of you can't fully have what you want just because you can, then you're going to have limited results even if you do make the investment. So the first shift for the client, whether this is you or whether you are the coach, here's your first tip. The first shift for the client, is to change the narrative into, because I desire it, I'm energetically matched to it. All that I desire I can have, all that I desire I can manifest, and making these big leaps, making these investments supports me in manifesting all that I desire. That is not a conditional narrative. That's an unconditional narrative. That's basically saying, whatever I do, I'm going to get what I want. Whatever I do, I'm going to manifest that which I desire. Whichever path I choose, my desires are worthy and they are valid and I am energetically matched to them. However, I am choosing to make this particular move or this particular investment or this particular choice because that's going to help me collapse time and get to where I want to be sooner rather than later. Right? So this is like the first reframe for both the client and the coach, is just unraveling this piece around conditional desires. Do not give your power away to the conditions of somebody else's financial reality or the conditions of anything else. And I've heard all the excuses under the sun. I've heard, oh, well, I'll join when I've lost a bit more weight because I'm really focused on losing my weight right now. Or I'll join when I've got myself through this divorce that I'm coming through. Or I'll join when I'm not single so I feel like I've got a partner to support me through it. We so often make our desires conditional of external circumstances, and it's just a means to give our power away, and it's a means to keep ourselves trapped in the paradigm that we're in. And it's ironic because we will say repeatedly, I want to escape the life that I'm in. I want to make a better life for myself. I want more money. I want more love. I want more joy. I want more abundance. I want more self-worth. I want all the things. And yet we actually find it more comfortable to stay where we are because it's known than we do to make the necessary moves and the necessary investments to shift our energy and our frequency and our reality completely. It's actually more comfortable to stay trapped in what we don't want than it is to make the big, bold moves to create what we do want. And a lot of people get stuck there. So that's one piece. And then the next piece is understanding the energetics of actually making the investment. So yes, it is true that if you make a big investment, then the money can follow. And I have seen this repeatedly. There is substantial proof that once you make the investment, the money will follow, but only when the energetics behind that investment are fully aligned. And here's what I mean by the energetics. If that investment is made from a mindset, a frequency, or a belief that if the investment isn't made, that the results won't be received, that if the investment isn't made, then the desires aren't valid and the desires won't be made manifest. Making the investment from a place of FOMO or from a place of scarcity or from a place of fear or from a place of lack or from a place of forced obligation because someone's done a really hardcore sales pitch and now you feel like you can't not make that investment, or somebody's told you that that investment is bigger than you, and so in order for you to have what you want, you need to go through this rite of passage with the investment. Every time you make an investment from that frequency, you are going to get limited or at least lesser results because your energy that's gone into the transaction, into filling in the registration form, into pressing go on that button, it's contracted, it's restricted. So you're going to get contracted and restricted results. And I'm seeing a lot of this in the coaching industry at the moment because coaches are picking up this phrase, the money will follow once you make the big investment, but they're not fully explaining why that's true. And so then the client enters into that transaction, that energetic exchange, that investment with a misaligned fear-based energy, and the results are limited for the client and for the coach and for the container. And it's not brilliant vibes all round, right? However, there is a way to make an investment in order, oh, you're awake, hi baby. There is a way to make the investment in order that the energetic return and the financial return is exponential and is rewarding and is what you want and does help you manifest the desires. And it's this. It's coming from a frequency of, I am valid of my desires, my desires, I am worthy of my desires, I get to manifest all that I desire, it's mine anyway, it's not conditional. And when I make this investment, I am allowing myself to step into a greater place of power, a greater place of trust in myself, trust in my desires. I am able to lean into my fear and follow my fear and know and trust that when I make this investment, all that I desire gets to be returned to me tenfold in collapsed time frames, right? It's an expansive energy. It's, oh my God, I'm absolutely terrified, because of course big leaps are terrifying. Leaving your comfort zone is scary. So you still feel the fear, but your desire is bigger than your fear. This is the key thing. And when your desire is bigger than your fear, It doesn't matter what the action is. It could be a big investment. It could be a different big move. But that move, that action, backed by your energetics and your frequency of my desire is greater than my fear, that's the thing that returns the investment. So if you're making an investment in a coach or a program or container to make more money, this is why this narrative can become true, that you go, do you know what? I am really ready to blow up my money situation. I'm really ready to manifest more money. I'm really ready to take my business to the next level. I'm ready to be more seen, more heard, more visible. I'm ready to be more impactful, whatever it is. And that is valid, and I am worthy of that. And yes, it's terrifying, but my desire is bigger than my fear. And I know and trust that by making this investment, the responsibility is on me, and I am energetically available to receive all of the energetic return from this investment. Then when you make that investment, then yes, of course, the money lands. Of course it does. But that's the frequency and the energy that we want you guys to be in when you make the investment. Not FOMO, not scarcity, not I need this, not this is the thing that's going to fix everything for me, because that's a dependency frequency which is also constricted and limited. Instead, we want you to be in an expansive energy of I get to make this investment, layered on top of the fact that I already know that I'm getting what I want. I already know that I'm an energetic match for that which I desire. I am open and ready to receive the return on my investment. And it feels, yes, scary, but really freaking exciting as well. It feels like a stretch. It feels like a leap. You're aware you're leaving your comfort zone, but you're aware you are doing it because you're fully backing your own desires, because you're ready to make a shift, because you are shifting your self-worth and your self-love, your self-awareness and your self-acknowledgement around where it is you're currently at and what it is that you truly want in life. Making your investment from that place is fully aligned and reaps rewards. So clients who are on the verge of investing in something, get yourself into that zone. And coaches who are converting clients into your programs and containers, please understand and embody these energetics and explain it to your clients so that they can make a truly aligned, expansive, desire-led decision for them. It doesn't get rid of the fear. It doesn't, because like I said, stepping out of your comfort zone is scary. There's always going to be some sort of fear behind hitting that button. And I recognize, for some people that come into my world, like I've been running the Hyper Shift all this week, it was just £111 for 5 days of coaching with me. I mean, it was a total no-brainer for some people. For some people who had the disposable income, who've already worked with me several times, £111 is like, oh, duh, I know I'm going to get the return on investment. Like, this is a no-brainer investment. Whereas other people, actually, it was a really big stretch and a really big leap for them, because perhaps they hadn't worked with me before and £111 was a really, really big stretch for them. So people come into my world through all different frequencies and all levels of intention with their investments. But it's my intention for all of you that come into my world that you make those investments and you make those leaps and you make those decisions and you take those actions from a frequency of, I'm fully backing my own desires. I am an energetic match for my desires, and I am choosing this investment, and I'm choosing to get in Harriet's world and Harriet's containers because I know this is going to catalyze that which I am already energetically aligned to. This is just going to help me collapse time. It's just going to help me blow up and be more expansive. I don't ever want my clients to feel like they need to be in my containers. I want my clients to always feel like it's desire that's led them to work with me, no matter how big or scary or exciting that is for them, And so it's a very different energetic exchange that happens between me and my client right at that point of investment. I hope this has been really valuable for those who are on the fence about making decisions around investments. And for those of you who are coaches and perhaps have had a little difficulty understanding this narrative of the money follows the investment, hopefully this has been really eye-opening for you. Please take the information, embody it and understand it to the best of your ability. Please don't be one of those coaches who just regurgitate shit that they see on the internet, because without the embodiment piece, you don't really fully understand it. And that doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve your client, and it certainly doesn't serve some of the negative narratives in our industry. So let's all try to act from a place of integrity and alignment, and what really serves us will serve each other, will serve the collective. And it's not just about making the sale, it's about making a difference in the world and working with the people that we are all fully aligned to work with. And as far as I'm concerned, there is an infinite amount of clients available to all of us. We can all be each other's clients, we can all help each other. It's a really, really beautiful industry that we've created. And every now and again, I just see these not so fun narratives that get misunderstood, that get mistranslated, and it felt aligned and appropriate for me to put some truth and some explanation and some scientific backing to that. So I hope it's been super helpful. For those of you catching on replay, let me know that you're watching on replay. I think it was the standard thing like hashtag replay or something. And I will be back soon with another Impromptu Live.